and also made the second vice president. But even at home, we feel your vibrancy. We see you at the most important occasions as far as football on the African continent is concerned. What has been the experience?
I think that my love and my passion for the sport remains undiluted, and therefore I'm always able to find the right level of energy to execute my role and my job. My job is to serve football, and wherever I find myself, I give my utmost best. Serving at the highest level of football on the African continent has been an eye-opener. Obviously, it is my first time. There's a lot to learn from this strategy space, but most importantly, there's a lot for me to offer the African game. And I have embraced this opportunity to the best of my knowledge and ability. And I think so far it's been good. It's been very interesting. Albeit the fact that it's quite tiring.
I see. But often we see you close to the president of the African Football Confederation. He seemed to like you so much. Is that the case?
Well, I think that Dr. Mosepe is a very intelligent man. He knows what he wants, and therefore he decided to pick the five of us as his vice presidents. Of the five, I'm the second. You need to have a trust of somebody for the person, especially in association football, to bring you that close to him. And what's most important is that we do have the express support of the entire executive committee of CAF. They offer us all the support. We do respect one another, and I think that so far within this short period we have gelled together. We have offered the needed support the president needs, and in football that's most important. You need a team to work with, a team that will be honest to you, a team that will be very loyal, and a team that would serve the interests of the African game. And I think that from March, April up to date, we have formed a very good unit. The five of us, the five vice presidents, supporting our president in the person of Dr. Mosepe.
Okay. What's the focus of the current leadership of CAF? What levels, what areas do we have in focus as far as the African game is concerned?
I think that first you want to look at where Dr. Mosepe took the sport from, and I've always said this, that if you forget about your yesterday, you may not remember your tomorrow. And at the time that Dr. Mosepe took over, the image of the sport had been tainted. The sport faced a lot of challenges, and one of those key challenges had to do with finance. And therefore one of the main focus of his leadership is to bring in the needed finance to the sport, to raise the levels of our competitions, to make it more attractive, and to make sure that the infrastructure, the logistics that are needed in hosting our topmost products remain of the utmost quality. And that has been the focus. Now it's becoming more interesting for MAs to run their football associations because of the support from CAF and FIFA. It's becoming more interesting for FA presidents to go about their duties because of the support, and the tournament, which is the mainstay of the Confederation of African Football, is becoming more and more attractive and more interesting to member associations, most especially the AFCON. I mean, the prize money for the AFCON now is in excess of 10 million USD. This is somebody in Ghana would say this is crazy, you know what I mean? And I think that having been to Cameroon, having been to La Côte d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast, And having gone through the showpiece in Morocco, one could only and easily say that the African game is growing. The AFCON is growing. The AFCON is becoming more competitive under the leadership of Dr. Mosepe. And the world is taking note. I mean, everybody in the world watched the AFCON. I mean, when I sat through almost all the games, watching every game after game, watching all the spectacle, the tension, the anxiety, the fights, I couldn't agree more to the notion that the African game has indeed arrived.
Okay. I think one of the things CAF was widely criticized for years back was commercialization of the game and the monetary value in terms of reward and benefits for playing in competitions across the African continent. About 8-10 years ago, the AFCON winner was taking home just about $1.5 million. Doctor took over at a time where, and then increased it to about 4.4 million, 4.5 million. Today, we're doing more than 200% of that, with the winner taking home in excess of $10 million. How has he been able to get this done?
Well, I think that it's been hard work from him, his good self, and the leadership of CAF. Also to the Secretariat. I think that Dr. Mosepe came in with a good reputation, and this reputation has gone to the benefit of CAF. People believe in his leadership. Companies across the globe believe in his leadership and the vision he has for CAF. The executive committee has been very supportive of his vision, which is also very, very key. He's kept the organization going in the right direction with one sense of unity, and therefore it's not come as a surprise at all that companies are coming on board. Companies are interested in investing in CAF. Again, because of the credibility, the integrity of the institution. And I think that we are in the right way. There's still a lot of work to be done, but the man doesn't sleep. I mean, he's always working and looking for the best for CAF. And for those of us who are supportive or part of the leadership, obviously, have the same traits. We don't sleep. I mean, working and working and working. And I think that over time, all the products of CAF would improve. The Secretariat, led by Veron, are doing a good job. And it's just a matter of time. I mean, I think that we'll be up there. If we are not already up there.
Okay, but if the game is growing, you earlier mentioned how we have developed from Cameroon in 2021, 2022. You see the level of tournament delivered in Ivory Coast about a year and a half ago. Morocco, and people have confessed that during the AFCON 2025, they couldn't tell at some point whether they were watching the European Championship or the World Cup, except that it was two African teams that were playing.
But we've also seen African players representing European nations, yeah. So maybe you were watching the World Cup. Sure.
The game is, and what excites me the most is about the commercialization of the African game. So if all these good things are happening and the game is growing, the AFCON is growing rapidly, why the decision to move the AFCON to a 4-year tournament instead of the 2 years?
I think that President Mosepe has taken time to explain, and when, to say the truth, when the proposal came before the executive committee, we were unanimous in our decision, because we had to look at the entire situation holistically. The commercialization, obviously, you mentioned of the product offering, the need to situate the competition at a time and period that will not be worrying to the main actors, which is the players, and to ensure that at every given time we don't have constant and consistent fights with our brothers from the other continents, especially mainland Europe, where at a point we are hosting our tournaments. European leagues are also in session, and there's constant battles. But most importantly, it also gives us the chance to introduce the African Nations League, which will be a yearly tournament. Also, you can also say a super, or CAF president will say AFCON Plus, where all 54 member associations can now compete, and not a fraction of the member associations, because we also want to develop products that will bring in the commercial value, and creating the space for the African Nations League, which takes care of all 54 member associations year in, year out, and then the main AFCON over a 4-year cycle for us is fantastic.
Okay, we'll come back to the African Nations League, but it looks like the decision was taken with the European interest in mind, and this is something that many has criticized CAF for, that the decision is more in the interest of European clubs.
I think they are wrong. I don't think I do agree with that. We're thinking about also the African interests. Our interest is to have a competition with all our super players in attendance. We want to have a competition with our players coming in with free mindset to come and play. We also know that we don't live in this world in isolation. We live in a world where our players are employed by people, by clubs across the globe. And we don't want to be in constant fight with our partners. That is not realistic. So it was always important for us to look at what is in our best interests, okay? Given the fact that FIFA in themselves are now looking at how to reorganize the international match calendar. Don't forget the new way, where September, October, November, all leagues across the world will break, and it will only be for international games. Okay, so that is a period where we'll be playing our Nations League. So from September, October, November, Nations League is taking place, the whole of Africa, on a zonal basis. So, for example, in the west of Africa, we have WAFU A and WAFU B joining together, 16 countries, one platform. I mean, you're going to have derbies here, Ghana versus Senegal, Ghana versus Nigeria, Ghana versus Ivory Coast, big games, big atmospheres, and that brings economic returns, and that's what we're looking at. And at the end, the champions meet again on one platform, and the winner is determined, and the prize money again in excess of 10 million. So it may, I understand the concerns of many, especially the fact that all of us were born into an AFCON cycle which ran over 2 years. So we are used to. We are used to that, and to change is always difficult. Change is always a difficult subject. So people usually fight change, but at the end, when it is practiced over a period of time, we will all see the benefits. I mean, when Dr. Mosepe was taking over the reins of African football, there were people who also had their doubts, but today they see the vision, they see the hard work being done, and they appreciate not only the work that he has done, but also the way he's been able to court and to have support of FIFA in achieving the collective vision of the African.
I see, but with the Nations League, will we not be overly stressing the players?
No, because the whole world will come to a standstill watching the Nations League, because it's an international calendar. FIFA says that September, October, November will be a dedicated period for international games. So everybody's free, the players will be free from club activities, and every single top player will be available for their member association.
Is this likely to affect the traditional AFCON calendar? Are we possibly looking at moving the AFCON to September, October, November?
I think it's a subject which is being discussed. The AFCON will always be the AFCON. Over the new 4-year cycle, we'll pitch it at a time that everybody will be happy with. And I think that there are very, very good intentions behind the decisions that has been taken, and all of us who sit on the executive committee, obviously representing individual member associations, and most importantly the continent, are aware of our responsibilities towards the growth of the game on the African continent. So we wouldn't take decisions that will be, somebody will say, inimical to the development of the sport, and we believe that at this moment this is the best.
Okay. We've all been waxing lyrical about the Africa Cup of Nations and the level of growth, but I'm sure if there's one thing that really gave a negative image of the AFCON, then it was Senegal's walkout staged during the final of the Africa Cup of Nations. Before we even get into that, there were several conspiracies, including CAF doing everything they could to aid Morocco win the Africa Cup of Nations, possibly as a compensation for the high level of investment they continue to make in the African game, including hosting the AFCON. Is there anything like that?
I totally disagree. I mean, there can never be a conspiracy in the leadership, that means me inclusive, to reward Morocco. Not at all. That would not never happen. And I think that I'm just borrowing the words of the president when he met the press in Morocco. Every single nation that appeared at the AFCON deserves the opportunity to win. Everybody has to prepare and everybody has to be competitive. Morocco is one of the countries that competed, and truth be told, Morocco were the best performing African nation during the last World Cup. No doubt they have a very strong team, and therefore when they are winning games based on merit. I've always said that referees are human beings. Referees, as human as they are, will make mistakes today, will make mistakes tomorrow, will get things right today, may get things right tomorrow. And therefore, when a referee makes a call, we should always give the referee the benefit of the doubt. That's football. I mean, and it happens everywhere in the world, everywhere, every continent, whether it's Africa, whether it's Europe, whether referees do make good calls, and sometimes they do get it wrong. That's football, and we just have to understand that when certain things happen, we have to take it in our strides. So CAF, per its make and form and shape, will never, never, never manipulate any system to favor any member association. Never. We are all, I mean, on the ESCO, we have people representing different member associations. I mean, you think Burkina Faso don't want to win? They want to win. You think Nigeria don't want to win? They are on the ESCO. You think Cameroon don't want to win? They are on the ESCO. So forget it. It will never happen. Yes, the sins on that day was not what you expect, but for me, I take it as part of the positives coming from the game. It tells you how much Senegal wanted to win. It tells you their passionate level. It tells you their energy level. It tells you that, look, they also wanted the trophy at all costs, regardless of what it takes. And for me, that's my interpretation. And for me, it was part of the super excitement that we had that day. It was a big day, big atmosphere, an amazing event, quality football by the two teams, unbelievable level of quality. And I'm super excited about what I saw. I mean, 22 gallant players showing the quality of the African game, where the game was watched or was taken to millions of homes through our TV partnerships. Yes, there are big lessons to be learned from the incidents of that day, but that will never take away the quality of the event in itself for me. Africa delivered an amazing AFCON, and Morocco will stand tall for that special delivery.
Okay. On the back of the incident, the question many continue to ask is whether Senegal could possibly face some consequences for their actions on the day. Are they likely to be sanctioned?
It's not for me to answer this question. I think that football is always governed by rules and regulations, If it is that there are infractions, the institution will take care of itself. For me, what's most important is that I sat through the game. I watched the spectacle. I watched the excitement. I watched quality football. I watched football played with high levels of energy. Tensions were very high. The two teams wanted the prize at all costs and gave away everything. So,
while you enjoyed the AFCON, did you miss the fact that the Black Stars were not there? Ghana was
of course. I mean, that's very natural. I'm Ghanaian. I represent Ghana first and foremost, and I represent the Black Stars, the heart of the African game. When we had the roll call for the quarterfinals, and somebody said, Ghana should have been here. I heard the comment right in my ears, and I was like, I mean, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. We have learned the big lessons. That was not the first time Ghana didn't make it to the AFCON, and whenever you go so low, you have to find a way to come so high. And I think that I forever remain sad that we're not at the AFCON, because I have said, and I'll keep saying, that AFCON for me is a given. We have to be there. And if we are not there, that will be part of the low side of our sport. But we've been able to reorganize ourselves, and we've made it to the World Cup, and that shows the strength of the team that we have, the mindset, the mentality of the people we have. That yes, we went so low, but then within the same period, we've gone so high.
What did we miss by not making the AFCON 2020?
Well, we missed everything. We missed everything. I mean, the showpiece, the opportune time to make a name for ourselves, opportune time to fight for glory, opportune time to place Ghana again among the very best on the African continent, opportune time to show the quality of the intangible assets that we have, and opportune time to win glory. I mean, we missed a lot. But again, these are lessons that we've learned, especially me as a leader. We had the opportunity to fight again, and we fought and made it to the World Cup. The excitement in my heart is that in 2024, the Black Stars struggled. But in 2025, the Black Stars did not lose one competitive game, one official game. That's a big statement, and it's a statement that gladdens my heart. It's a statement that tells me that when we stay together, when we work together, when we believe in a way, we can always reach that target of envy.
On the field of play, the Black Stars were not there, but were represented by one man, Daniel Lai. I mean, how much of a good ambassador, good or bad ambassador, was he for Ghana football?
So, on the field of play, Ghana was not there. The Black Stars were not there, but we have loads of Ghanaians working at the AFCON. Not only Daniel Lai. There were loads of Ghanaians behind the scenes that worked to make that spectacle what we saw on TV. But of course, we can speak about Daniel Lai, and I'm super excited about him and for him to be chosen, to be picked for that crucial semi-final game was a big statement of confidence by CAF in his quality and ability. And I think that he did a decent job. He did a good job. And he will remain one of the topmost referees on the African continent. Yes, refereeing is an act that is very evolving, and you always have to be on top of your game. And I believe that Daniel would look again at the two games that he was part of, especially one as a VAR referee and then the one in the middle, and then pick up all the good and best lessons that he can from those two, and also even grow to become even much better on the African continent and in the world. Okay.
Now, after that big semi-final game, there were two contrasting views, sharp views of Daniel Lai's performance, whereas some were of the view that he exhibited very high-level professional standards in officiating. Our brothers from Nigeria were not happy and subjected him to all forms of criticisms.
It's very normal. It is very normal. But the truth is the truth. Daniel Lai was top. Himself know that he was top. And I have lots of friends. I mean, the president of the Nigerian FA is my best friend, President Ibrahim. And Nigerians are our best friends. And so it's very normal. Even when we beat them, they still find a way to turn the story against us. So it's okay. But from my standpoint, I believe that Daniel did a good job. He's a top referee, and he can even be better than who he is or what he's delivering today.
Do you look forward to seeing him at the World Cup?
My friends from the other side of faith will say, Inshallah. God willing, I look forward to seeing him.
Okay. How should Daniel's growth and performance at the AFCON serve as a motivation for the referees back home, especially the young ones?
I think that he's currently, obviously, our best referee, no doubt. Most of his colleagues look up to him. He's also over time showed leadership when there's a gathering of referees in this country. And for the much younger ones, he's a big inspiration. He's a model. Everybody would want to be a Daniel Lai of our time. And I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of our young ones growing up to that level, if not better. You can already see 1, 2, 3, 4 from the Academy Young Refereeing strategy that we started implementing a few seasons ago. And you can see traits of Ed Daniel Lai in the making, some of their young boys. So I'm looking forward to enjoying their acting in the best possible way to make our game even much better than it is.
Okay. Now, you've already ushered us into the conversation around the local game. In fact, this was a more personal conversation with a colleague, young club administrator. We're talking about the fact that when any team is playing away from home, they wish they had a catch them young referee. It tells the level of quality, it tells the level of fairness they deliver on the field. But again, in one of our review meetings, there were concerns that some of the senior ones are beginning to corrupt the younger generation. How important is it for us to guard against this?
Well, okay, so I don't know about corrupting the younger generation, and I don't know about the senior ones being corrupt. I know about referees sometimes having bad calls. I know about referees having good calls. I know about the unquenchable desire of the younger folks to excel. This I know. But it's the reason why I set out, or I rolled out this Academy Young Refereeing strategy a few years ago. I knew what it will give to Ghana football. I knew the challenges that it may bring along the line. But so far, I'm extremely excited about the turnout, about the outcome of the Academy Young. Perhaps one of the best gifts I have given to the Ghanaian game since I took office. I think that there's a need for more investment in their strategy. We need to find the resources to support the kids, especially in trainings. I also think that there will be a need for more training opportunity, even for the much more experienced ones, because that's the only way we can improve the act of refereeing. And then hopefully we should be able to do or bring the VAR to Ghana. It's a promise I made to our congressmen and women, and it's a strategy we continue to pursue. I know that some parts of the season have been quite challenging with some unacceptable refereeing decisions. But look, even in the best established jurisdictions where referees continue to have consistent trainings and retrainings, they do get some of the calls wrong. So we must accept that, look, sometimes it can go bad, sometimes it can go extremely good. And our responsibility will be to help everybody along the line. I mean, when it gets bad, let them watch the videos again, let them accept that it's gone bad. Look, we need to make it much better. And the FA has been very consistent in our engagement with the match officials. We have review meetings regularly. We talk about how they are conducting themselves and what we expect of them. And I think that it's been an amazing season. It's been a very, very good season. I've enjoyed it, and it's picking up. Energy levels are going high. We've got into that stage in the year where clubs are fighting for relegation, clubs are fighting for promotion, clubs are fighting for the titles. And if you consider the fact that for this year, the total investment in terms of prize money is close to 10 million Ghana cedis by the Football Association, then you should understand that the stakes are pretty high. So it is a super exciting season, and I'm very happy about what's happening.
Okay. Now you are in your third year of your second term. What's the state of our game?
I sit here as a very happy man. I think that the sport has received unprecedented support on all fronts, at all levels, whether from the Colts level, from the Women Division 1, the Women Premier League, the Division 1 League, the GPL. I think that the domestic game has not received support like it is currently receiving, and I'm very happy about the progress we have made. I still think that there's a lot that has to be done, or that can be done, because we are still not at the level that I want to see our domestic game. I want us to be the best on the African continent. I want us to compete with the very best on the African continent. I want us to have the right levels of investment so that our players will stay at home and compete and flourish and entertain our people. But I think that some hard work has gone in, and we'll continue to work towards improving the domestic game.
Okay. Over the period, what do you think has been our major pillars of growth?
I think that we've grown on a lot of fronts. I know it's very easy for people to refer to women's football. I mean, from the launch of the women football strategy to its full implementation, from the talent identification program with FIFA, the establishment of the FA Elite Academies, free coaching education for coaches. I mean, the human capacity building opportunities offered by Bedway along the line, through their investment in the Women's Premier League, our unbelievable number or quantum of investment in the preparations of our female senior national team, the Black Queens, which resulted in we coming back to the top 3 on the African continent. I think that the female sport has received unbelievable amount of support, like never before. Go back to the very basics of our game, coast football. I led the charge, sitting on the National Juvenile Committee for the first time in the history of the Ghanaian game, making sure that our coast clubs across the country do receive the needed support. Footballs, whistles, just name them. I mean, refereeing equipment, trainings for coaches, free training for coaches, footballs, again, like I said, for the players, competitions for our coast clubs and players, i.e. the Interclubs Champions League and Interregional U17 Coast Championship, sponsored by KGL over the last 5 years plus. I think that coast football has received unbelievable amount of attention. There's a lot still to be done, but given the quantum of tournaments that our coast clubs are involved in, Coast FA Cup across the country. In the last few days, we launched the U15 Coast League for Girls, first time in the history of the Ghanaian game in the female sport. I think that there's a lot of good things happening to our domestic game, and it's just a matter of time. We are sowing good seeds. These seeds will germinate, and I see Ghana being very dominant very soon.
With all these good things you have mentioned, do you think you deserve a third term?
So to answer this question, I don't know whether I want to continue. Which I don't know. I think that it's a subject I don't want to think about now. We have a little under 2 years to go. This is a long time for me to make a decision. I've had a chance to serve the Ghanaian game. I took over football at a time that Ghana football faced the most challenging period ever since football started in our country. A time that our game was stopped and there was no football in our country. A time that corruption had been on the front pages and being connected to our game. A time that our football association had no leadership, because if you remember, our president at that time had been banned by FIFA, and the then vice president had been sacked by the ESCO. So there was no leadership. That was when I took over the reins of the Ghanaian game. Very, very challenging period. And for us to have been able to navigate our football, bringing back all the domestic competitions, offering our clubs maximum support to be able to revive themselves and their activities from support, which included fuel to our clubs, footballs to our clubs, category A boots to our clubs, cash incentives to our clubs, free coach education, men and women, free coach education to coaches across the country, unbelievable injection of direct cash into our leagues, whether it's a GPL or Division 1 league or Women's Premier League. This is history which is right in front of us, and these are the facts which we must always speak about. These are the good things. I mean, if in our time a Division 1 league club receives direct cash of 120,000 Ghana cedis, this is history. Somebody will say, oh, but 120,000 is not enough. But this is history. What would you use to compare? I mean, our Women Premier League clubs receiving 100,000 Ghana cedis, it is history. I mean, GPL clubs receiving before the commencement of the season $100,000 each. This is history. Prize money in excess of 9 million Ghana cedis. This is history. You know, this is no fishing. You know, these are facts which confront all of us. So we've made a lot of gains. We made a lot of gains through the support of companies like MTN, KGL, just to mention a few who've been so supportive of our work. I think that collectively as a football family, we have to be proud of what we have done, the investments we have made in the Ghanaian game, and the promises we have made to deliver tomorrow for our game. I think that I sit here as a very happy man. If today I decide not to continue again, I'll go home very happy. My soul will be very happy about the fact that I was given the chance to serve, and I've served the Ghanaian game to the best of my ability. Ghana will see it, Ghana is saying it, West Africa has seen it, and Africa has seen it.
If you say that you are yet to decide whether you run for a third term or not, is that to suggest that the extension of the mandate for the GFA president was not necessarily to put yourself up for a third term election?
Well, I don't think that status is made for any single individual. Status of member associations are made for the association, and it stands the test of time. Whether it's Mr. Azerbaijan or Mr. Timbuktu is irrelevant. The status is the status of the federation, and whether KET exists or Jupiter does not exist is irrelevant. I mean, so for me, whether even at that time, whether the status was corrected to make more sense or not, for me, it doesn't really affect whether I decide to continue or to go back to the clubs to seek re-elections or not to seek re-elections. For me, what I'm happy about is what time I've been given to serve, and I'll make sure that I'll serve to the best of my ability. If I get tired along the line, I'll stop. But for me, that's my life, and I'll go back to my Dreams FC and enjoy my life.
Now, going back to the first elections, you campaigned on the mantra of igniting passion and creating wealth for people in the industry. At what levels are we with igniting the passion and the creation of wealth for members?
I think on both fronts we've achieved a lot. Again, football is now being played everywhere. Coast football is being played in almost every district. This is the passion. This is we igniting passion, bringing back the love for the sport at a time that the love for the sport had been stopped by both FIFA and by government. Go to Division 2 centers, enjoy good football today. You see the crowds. Go to coast venues, you see the crowds. They're enjoying their coast football again. The people who coach our coast clubs are happy because of the knowledge we have passed on to them. Free coach education for our coaches, they are happy. Our women coaches who had been denied access are having free coach education. They are happy. This is where igniting the passion in the individuals. They are very happy. I mean, go to Division 1. Now it's a lot easy to run a Division 1 league club because of the support we are offering club owners. We are giving them cash of 120,000 a year. We are giving them free Category A Puma boots. We are giving them fuel. We are giving them footballs. This is the FA igniting passion in the owners of football clubs in our country, and they are very happy. I mean, Division 1 League is on free-to-air TV. Division 1 League is on free-to-air TV. This is the FA igniting passion of our club owners. This is the FA igniting passion of our footballers, because the footballers now have the strategic space to show their quality on TV. They are being identified by stellar clubs. They are being offered opportunities also to showcase their talents on those platforms. In the time past, Division 1 League was never on free-to-air TV. I mean, currently we have Zone 3 on free-to-air TV. We have Zone 2 on free-to-air TV. We just finished arrangements for Zone 1 to also come on free-to-air TV. This is Division 1 football. Never in the history of the Ghanaian game. The women's game is also on TV. The GPL, through the kind courtesy of our partnership with Adisa, is receiving amazing reviews over the continent with the quality of production, and I'm super happy when I sit and watch our GPL on my phone when I'm abroad. When you're on the aircraft, you can watch your GPL, and I'm like, oh, this is Ghana. I mean, we are not there yet where I want to take the Ghanaian game, but believe me, we've made giant strides, and we don't need third parties to tell us that we are not doing well. We are doing well.
Okay, but I'm sure these things have come with its own challenges. What have been some of the challenges along the way?
Well, in every human endeavor, there are bound to be challenges. I mean, logistics, funding, difficulty in finding people with the right levels of skill sets in our industry. It's always a challenge. I've always said that two identified challenging areas, coaching and refereeing, is always a challenge, and we have to consistently keep investing in those two key need areas. It's very normal of every human venture. But I think that overall, when I look back, when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm happy.
Okay, now talking about that, you mentioned refereeing and then coaching as some of the challenges. And one of the ways you mentioned to improving refereeing in our local game was the introduction of the video assistant refereeing policy. Soon after you made that revelation, the referees manager was even more emphatic that by January of 2025, we're going to roll out the VAR policy in our league? It's been a year after and we're yet to see signs of the VAR. When are we going to have the VAR working in our league?
So first of all, the executive committee is very committed to delivering on this promise. We've been engaging loads of service providers. We've had some feasibility studies. We have encountered some technical challenges along the line because of who we are as a country, especially when it comes to the delivery or transmission of the signals, whether to have it centralized or to put the system in an OB van and move the OB van to location on a daily basis, and the challenges thereof. Again, because of our inherent domestic challenges. So it's been a long journey, but we are unrelenting in our desire to bring these services to the football industry. 3 days ago, I had a meeting with the head of refereeing, and at least I know up where we are as we speak now, and we would definitely deliver on promise. This is one thing that I will say, that I'm not the kind of leader who goes before my clubs to make promises and not wanting to deliver. I always want to deliver.
Are we close to this, or we're still very far?
I would say that we are close. One of the foremost challenges obviously had to do with the TV production, which we have now solved with our partnership via Adisa Productions. So all the games have been covered, which is good, at a very good level. Then there is a question of funding. At least I've managed to find the funding for same. What is left for us is to determine what kind of which module or which kind of service provider to go in for, whether the stationary via equipment or the movable one via the OB van. So I think we are quite close. We are quite close.
That sounds exciting. But moving away from the local game, I'm sure this year the biggest picture for every football consumer is the FIFA World Cup. Something we look forward to it. We look forward to it with great expectations. What do we think about when we look at the FIFA World Cup? What was our focus as far as the FIFA World Cup is concerned?
So first of all, I'm very happy that we made it to the World Cup. This will be our second appearance under my leadership, which is a big statement that indeed we do belong to that elite group in the world, because qualifying back-to-back to the Mondial, by the grace of God, is a big statement from Ghana. And I'm very happy about this. The next is to prepare the team very well, go to the World Cup and make a big statement. When we went to Qatar, we couldn't go beyond the group. We lost 2 games and won 1, which was not enough for us to go through the group. Fortunately, we have about 60-70% of the players that played in Qatar still representing Ghana. What that means is that they have gained a lot of experience over time, and they are better placed to represent Ghana at the World Cup. And this makes me more comfortable. This makes me more confident that Ghana will go to the World Cup in the US, Canada, and Mexico, not as kids in quote anymore, but as boys who have grown over time and can fight for our dear country. I'm looking forward to the Mondial, and I know the entire country is very expectant. I think that when we come together as one nation, one people, to our support, both physical and spiritual support behind this team will make us proud.
Okay. What's our plan for the World Cup?
Well, our plan is to plan. Our plan is to be prepared. Our plan is to go to the World Cup, and our plan is to go to the World Cup and do well.
Okay. We hear that the FA has already interviewed some coaches to offer support for Coach Otuado. Is this something that can be confirmed, or there's no iota of truth in this?
Well, at the moment, there's no comment to this. I think that when it is that we have to address the media before the team departs, we will tell Ghanaians what our clear plan is and how we think we can deliver on the set targets for our country. What I can say for a fact is that we will be ready for the World Cup.
Do we find it necessary to augment our technical team?
I think by convention and by practice, Ghana has always had a lean technical team during qualification periods. And Ghana, maybe through scarcity of resources, have always retained a very lean technical team as compared to many other big football countries. And whenever we've had to engage or to be involved in tournaments, we have found a way to bring in the needed strength that we need, and will not depart from that.
Okay. Now, we've been at the levels where we have seen you, as driven by your passion, lead efforts into getting some players convinced to represent Ghana at the Black Stars level. Are we likely to see some new faces at the World Cup?
The last time I tried to explain this, somebody asked whether I was the coach. Indeed, I'm not the coach, so I'll leave this question to the coach to answer. What I know is that the coach will select the best players available to represent our country. This I know.
Okay. Training tour, possible destinations?
The Black Stars would definitely, like I said, be ready. That would include camping, obviously, to prepare. As to whether they would be camping, I don't know as of now. We have.
Note, a star, a shining light, the platform's beat, a hopeful start. Voices rise, instruments gleam, sharing dreams, a flowing stream. In every chord, a story told.